They're going by us. This is India, built in 1966, Phil Rhodes design, of course owned by Barclay Collins. I was probably in the yard when that thing was being built, but only realized it today, because I used to hang out in the Brigham shipyard in Greenport as a kid, and I'm sure she was underway, and I never knew the connection. Then we've got Whirlaway here. Whirlaway is a 1957 Whirlwind, built in Cockeysville, Maryland, been restored by a young man in 15, 16 years old. Last year was the first year she was on back in service, and he's continued to upgrade it with doing chrome work and working on the engine and things like that. They also found a period trailer for the boat as well. Next is Wallabout Baby, 1947 Chris Craft. She was on a Lake Centipede in a camp. That's how she gets her name. Walula was the song that they sang at the camp every night. So thus the owner named the boat after that, and she's carried that name ever since. She was 1947 Chris Craft. Eric Inquist owns her. This is we're a little out of sequence here. That's the Olden Challenger. Logo went by. I think the logo's coming by. Okay, I don't remember the details on this. We'll get back to that. Logos, okay. Her name is Christmas, 1961, Alden Challenger. It's the first Alden designed fiberglass boat, which is close to my heart, as many of you know. She's owned by Thomas Young. She's 38 feet 6 inches. She's got a Nissan diesel. Which prize did she win? She won a prize for greatest originality this year. Now this is Logo right here. Logo's one of only 26 recreational boats built by Chris Craft in 1941 before they shifted over to defense work. Which one? We're on Rose already? All right. Rose is a Ray Bunker design, 1954, 30 feet. She suffered an accident not too long ago. A building collapsed on her. She thoroughly rebuilt and just put back in service in April of 16. She's got a 6-cylinder Perkins in her. Time to take a breath. This is Sealark. Sealark was built in 1941 right here in Noank by Webb Eldridge. She's owned by Jennifer Knight, 32 feet, very similar to our Star that was also built by Eldridge. Ours was built in 1950. And she's had several owners, went away from this area for a while, but came back and is now usually moored right out here. Okay, right here is Martin Lyons, Nancy, and their Satin Doll. She's a 1938 Chris Craft. She's slightly modified over her original construction, but thoroughly rebuilt by the Garwood Company in the 80s. And Martin's done a lot of work to her himself. She won a prize this year for ongoing excellence in a local favorite. Yeah, Martin's a great supporter of this event. I can't remember a year that he wasn't here. This is Driftwood. Driftwood, I like this one a lot. She's a 1957 Hubert Johnson sport fisherman, basically, 33 feet. She's owned by Ned Lloyd. She was abandoned for a long time in New Jersey, and her current owner picked her up and spent 3 years restoring her. And she's got a pair of Chrysler Crowns in her. I'm not sure if they're original, but certainly the right vintage. And she got a special citation this year for Best Owner Reconstructive Restoration.
Very good.
Then our own Grant Museum has had her for 2 years now. She's a 1915 25-foot William Hand design, and she's got a 90-horse Westerby gas engine in her that dates from the 50s. I didn't know they were making engines that early. And then this is Niska. Niska means goose in Ojibwe, and she's a William Hand design also. It's nice the two were grouped. This year she got an award for most original and best maintained yacht. And way over outside there is one of our shipyard staff. He's actually an intern, an Irish student. We get a lot of Irish students in the summer between their 2 years, but he just acquired that boat a few weeks ago. That's a Alden Indian, 1932. Wow. He got an award this year for Really impressed with the tenacity of the young owner finding a boat and getting it ready in just 2 weeks while working on the Mayflower. I wonder who wrote that.
Other words, good luck.
Okay, this is Driftwood 3. Driftwood 3 has been in the same family for 55 years. A cruise family. She's a Dawn, built in 1930, 43 feet. She's got twin Volvos in her. And she served, during the war, she served as a tender carrying crew and officers to ships in New York Harbor. And there's Sea Rebel here. Sea Rebel is a North Carolina-built sport fisherman, built in 1969, designed by Warren O'Neill and Manio, North Carolina. Undergone a lot of work. She's got 2 871s in her. This year, she was a tie between she and Corsair. Corsair is the next one coming down the line here.
The dark old one.
For best owner, maintained, and operated. Keep track of that. I'll keep track of this. This is Corsair, right? Yeah. Yes. Corsair. She's a RIYC. A couple of years ago, we had a specialty and featured the RIYC boats. West Palm Beach. She was built in 1963. She's hull number 56 from the RIYC company. She's got twin 671s in her. And this boat, I just talked to the owner. It's a 1986 Hatteras. Her name is Sea Rose. He's only had it for a few months. It's got twin 871s in her. It's a Jack Hargrave design, and they're also built in North Carolina.
That's either. No, this is either
Malabar too, yeah.
Malabar. It's hard to tell.
So how do you pronounce that?
Frau Wang.
Okay.
But this could be.
We have two of these boats, and we're not sure which one this is right here. This is either Frau Lang or Malabar 2, but they're the same. They're both Malabar 2 designs from Alden. Which one is that?
Frau Lang.
Okay, thank you. She was built in 1984. She's 41 feet, got a 22 horsepower Yanmar in her. She was built in Bangkok and finished on the Vineyard. She's done a lot of local racing successfully.
Second.
And this is a Sea Ray from.
Yeah, it was a time I would have criticized that, but they're all good.
And it's got the matching stripe.
We'll have to find out what year for next year. And we've got Fenella coming up. Fenella's the one on the outside with the flags, and then we got Bantam on the inside here. Fenella on the outside is a new boat, so I'll feature her. She's designed by Ted Brewer, built 1984, 12,000 pound displacement. Betty and Paul Donowitz, Ted Brewer design. Got a Volvo in her. She's 32 feet. She got no award?
No. But Bantam got the last minute award.
Okay. And then we're told that Bantam got the last minute award. Bantam here is owned by. This is a local boat. I thought he was kidding.
This is Bounding Home next.
Okay, she's built in 1932.
It's an Alden Caravel.
Okay, this is
an Alden
right.
Caravel.
Exactly. Bounding Home, one of 13. She built in 1963. She's owned by Ann and Scott Kraft. Scott, who's contributed greatly to getting the Alden boats here this year. And there were 13 of these hulls built in Denmark, and many of them were finished here. There's some thought that this one was finished by Hodgson.
And this is a sister Star.
Okay.
He has.
All right.
Yeah,
This is
don't you-
Pearl. She's the same, basically the same hull, and she was built in '68. She's owned by Ken Murphy, and she's also believed to have been finished by Hodgson. That's a good-looking boat.
Alden designs some beautiful boats.
And this one here is Malabar 2. Of course, the Malabars were boats that were owned by Alden himself. This was built in 1922. You gotta forgive me for passing this one up. I'm partial to schooners. Anyway, I always wondered where he got the name Malabar, but I read the book today, and it said that there used to be a spit of land off Monomoy Point that was called Malabar. It's now just a shoal, but that's what introduced him to the name Malabar, which of course is also the name of 1922, which is also southwest coast of India.
Thank you for joining us.
She's 51 feet, built by Morse in Thomaston, Maine, and thoroughly rebuilt in 1955. She crossed over to Spain on her own bottom, and she's owned by James Lovdell, again out of the vineyard.
Yeah, I asked him if he knows.
She was used in the movie Message in a Bottle, and that financed a major rebuild in the year 2000. I've never seen the movie, but I've heard it.
I don't think you'd like it.
Which one was the message in the bottle this week?
No.
In any case, I
Malvar.
did send him down to Stonington to check.
So this is Gaetana. I looked that up. It's actually, today we would probably call them Roma people, but back in the day they were it was a name for gypsies. But she was built in 1936, and she's owned by a group now out of New York, group of enthusiasts. She did the Transpac in 1949, and then came back to the East Coast here. And this consortium of people has owned her since 1915 out of New Rochelle. 1936. Yeah. In 1949, she did the Transpac. In 2015, she came back to the East Coast. This is Scout. Scout is a 1971 Alden 58 Booth Bay Explorer. One of only 4. She was built by Hodgson. Says here she has 3 heads. I don't know why you need 3 heads on a boat that size.
You know? Did that win an award?
That's the most important. She's owned by Nick Vulgaris, 58 feet.
A side story to that is yesterday when the judges tried to go aboard, there were no people. There was a large black dog. And we were told later the dog was nice.
No worries.
It's a beautiful boat.
Yep, 1971.
It's like a condo inside.
And coming down the way here is 1911. She's Violet. She's a Scottish Zulu, built by James Nobles. And she's done quite a bit of sailing out to the Pacific. She got an award this year as a Judge Emeritus Award for the mesh between owner and boat. They belong. Unique and nothing else like it. She was on the vineyard for a long time. She was rebuilt by a local no-anchor named Gary Maynard, who sailed her quite extensively after rebuilding it. He sailed it out in the Pacific and back. As a child, Gary sailed around the world in a spray replica with his family.
That they built right
Yeah,
here.
that they built here in Noank, right?
Really?
Yeah.
So he was no stranger to offshore sailing. He's now building homes on the vineyard.